Welcome, and thank you very much for being here today and the first edition of the series, The Industry Talks by Model Management. This is the first series of a talk that we created to put some light on an industry, which is the modeling industry and the content creation industry, which I think we all form part here. I'm very, very happy tonight to be here with all of you, and I'm grateful for Clubhaus for hosting us tonight. Thank you very much. And also for Live Location for recording and streaming this tonight as well. So thank you. You don't know this, but this is a camera that is going to record the whole thing. So this is going to be visible to thousands and thousands of people outside of this room, which is really cool. So thank you very much. I'm also grateful, of course, for all of you for being here, for listening, and hopefully for participating later on. And especially grateful for my wonderful panel, which I'm going to shortly introduce. Right to my right, this is Danny Agudelo. Welcome. Danny is a commercial photographer with more than 12 years of experience. To his right is Raphaella Santana, a fashion designer based in Barcelona. Ami Schreien, I hope I pronounced your name correctly, is a fashion model. Next to her is Juan Cruz. He's a model scout currently working at Barcino Management. And last but not least, Andreas Von Estorff, who is the founder of Model Management. Thank you. We've invited each of these people to this panel because we think they all have a very unique perspective on the topic that we're discussing, which is modeling in the digital age. We have chosen this topic because we think there is a shift happening, like in many industries, also in the modeling and content creation industry, that if we manage to be aware of it and to have knowledge about it, we can thrive on it and we can boost our careers by using this knowledge. So as the person who probably has the longest experience in this industry, I'm going to start with Andreas. Andreas started in this industry more than 20 years ago, kind of by accident because his wife was a model. And so he quickly decided to also join and contribute something to the industry, and he founded not only Model Management but also Production Paradise, which some of you might know as well. So Andreas, as a founder of not one but two at least platforms that thrive on this digital change, could you maybe explain how you've seen the industry changing from offline to online in the last 20 years or more?
Yeah, of course, I try to. Thank you very much and welcome everybody. First of all, again, thank you for the live broadcasting. That's extraordinary. This little thing here, be careful, this camera, not you, Sam, this camera, sorry, is 360 degree. So it will record everything, every movement you do. So make sure you're pretty, and that will be seen by, I think, 100,000 of people. So it's really incredible technology, and also part of the change of the industry. I would say there's three major trends I've seen, which are good for us as a platform. One is the type of model. 20 years ago, it was 90% the glamorous, super good-looking young girl, guy with six-pack, girl, slim, tall, which could be in a TV spot or in a print ad. And you could have this picture or this TV spot for months or years, again and again, over all channels. And today, it's about 10 times more content production for brands. Not talking about your food pictures on Instagram, like content production that's used for advertising for brands. It's at least 10 times more, which means there's more opportunities, more change, more production, but it's not 10 times more budget, which also means the payment goes down. You have a producer here, a production company. He also has more than 20 years experience, and he's laughing, but he's also crying because his budgets go like this. So the hero productions, the ones who get the biggest budgets, they're suffering a bit because there's a lot of like low-cost productions, for social media and everything. So that's the first big trend. The second, this was two trends, because one is the type of model, and the second is the quantity of content that's created. So the type of model with more content changed also because there's not so many beautiful standard models for sure. Luckily, there's normal beautiful people and people who have different kind of looks, ages, sizes, and the beauty is everywhere. And I think this is the nicest trend we've seen. That right now it's not only this prototype; it's people with character, people who have something, who have a talent to express, who are authentic. I think authenticity is a big word here. So that's the second trend. And the third trend is that both ways, everything can go more direct. So disintermediation would be the word technically. On the one hand, the customer has access to models. For the young people, that's something like, yeah, of course they have access to models. I have an Instagram account. How can you not find me? But when I started, there was no Instagram, no internet, nothing. So you couldn't go on yellow pages in the phone book and say models and then call somebody, hey, can you work for me? So the only way to get a model on your set was a model agency. So that means today, producers or photographers, content creators can access to models directly. On the other hand, also the models or people who want to enter the modeling market can now market themselves. So they can do the Instagram account, they can have an account on modelmanagement.com, on whatever here in Spain is Litment, and there's many other competitors, which is nice. So it's in your hands to promote yourself. You have a chance to enter the market. We say like the barrier to enter the market has gone down significantly. In my times, you had to either live in Paris, Barcelona, Hamburg, Munich, Berlin, New York to be discovered, or you have to go there because the scouts, like this guy here, for example, they would not go to Tarragona or Valencia, probably, maybe once a year with a big show with elite. So this is also something where the poor girls and guys who wanted to start modeling and didn't live in these cities didn't have a chance to start. So I think this is a summary of the big three trends.
Good, thank you. Taking into mind those changes, I would like to ask you, Juan. Juan is a model scout. Like I said, he has also 7 years of experience. He started in Buenos Aires in Argentina. He founded his own scouting agency and has then worked freelance and is now based here in Barcelona and working for Barcino agency, which we have a lot of models here today, which is nice. So Juan, I would like to ask you, as a point of view of recruiting models and also a point of view of agencies, what have you seen changing?
Sure. Hi, everyone. Basically, what I think is that around 20 years ago, the best way, the most effective way to scout a model was in the street. And of course, that can conditionate you to spend more money or spend more time. And nowadays, with the internet, the impact of the internet in the industry is that the accessibility that it gives you. You know, we are more connected, and because of that, we are able to contact, 20, 30 models per day from different countries with platform like Model Management or Instagram. Yeah.
And I guess for agencies, this is also changing in the sense that your competitor is not only platforms like Model Management, but also the client himself. How do you cope with that?
Well, that's a thing. Yeah. What do you mean?
So how do agencies make it happen? Because clients, they can contact models directly, like we said before.
For sure. Well, one way for the agencies now is to have the exclusivity of the model. That is the most easiest way for the modeling agency, which probably is going to change in the future. Yeah.
Do you also see opportunities apart from having accessibility to more models in having like a digital support in your agency? I mean, in scouting.
Well, right now, for example, we are usually contacting around 20, 30 models per day. So, yeah.
Okay, thank you. I would like to give the word over to Amy. Amy has been in the industry a bit shorter. She has started 3 years ago. She was not looking to be a model. She just got asked by a friend and then started modeling. And she has, in 3 years, she has managed to grow her career quite quickly. and has worked with well-known brands and also through different channels. So I would like to know, Amy, maybe you can tell a little bit about your journey as a model and how you got here.
I started modeling 3 years ago because a friend of mine, she had to do a project for her university and she needed a black model. So she asked me to be the model. And at the first time I was like so nervous because I didn't know like how to pose, which face to do. And I accepted because she was my friend. So she was like popular here in Barcelona. So when she uploaded the pictures, a lot of people started to reach to me and ask me for collaborations. And I was like, why not? It will be fun. So a lot of people started to see me like Instagram, Google, like different pages. So brands started to reach to me, and I started like, sorry, I'm so nervous. So.
So you have started with Instagram, so brands from Instagram have contacted you, so you had your first jobs, but then you've also worked with agencies, right?
Yes.
So how do you combine having an online presence, because you're also model management, I know, an online presence like an Instagram and model management and being in an agency?
Because when my agency asked me to be part of them, I told them that I don't want an exclusivity contract because a lot of the work that I do is by Instagram. So if I had an exclusive contract, I will not do this. But I think it's cool to have an agency that represents you because usually they're more professional. But Instagram is also cool, yeah.
How do you manage your requests on Instagram? Do you now give them over to your agency, or do you think about them yourself? Do you manage yourself?
Well, no, actually, brands just see my profile and they'll send me a message in Instagram or Gmail.
Okay, thank you very much. Our next guest is Raphaella Santana. She's a fashion designer from Brazil originally. Yes. She's also responsible for Ami's, hers, and my dresses today. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
I really, really love the clothing.
Thank you.
So, Raphaella, you're the other side of the spectrum. So you're the brand, the client. So the industry obviously evolves around what you also want in a model. So maybe you can enlighten us and tell us a little bit about what it is actually that you look when you want to recruit a model.
Okay, so for me, I'm the kind of person that brings a lot of depth into my work. So when I'm looking for a model, I'm not looking for a face. I'm looking for a personality, somebody that has something to say, somebody who has a voice, a unique thing about themselves. So the face for me is something that I'll probably think last, but how is this person going to connect with the story that I'm telling? And I care about a lot of different things like sustainability, inclusivity, and all these different stuff. So when I look at a model, I'm thinking, okay, how can I relate to her, or how can she relate to my brand in a way that we can maybe make more of an impact as opposed to just using each other as a job, because a job, we can just have a job and it's fine, whatever. But if you're building a career and if you're thinking about in the long term, you have to be clear about who you are and what do you represent, like what do I bring to the table, what is the unique aspects about my life that I actually want to share with the world, and I want to become a representative of that. So I'm always thinking about how can a model also represent aspects of me and my brand that I really believe to be of value to share with the world.
So you would say that a model for you is much more now than just like her looks. You would say it's beyond that, what she represents, how she represents herself as well on her channels.
Yeah, for sure. And I think no model is just a model. Like, we're all complex individuals. We're all different and we have something to say. So if you're a model, you're not only ever going to be just a model. There's going to be so much more about you that I want to know. I want to connect with you. And usually the models that I've had working for my brand, they have become friends because they're not just a person that I'm using to put my clothes on. They're actually somebody who I believe has something to say and that I care about them and the story that they're telling about themselves as well and what they're willing to share with on their platform and that kind of thing.
And where do you look for your models? So which channels do you usually check before?
100% Instagram, but on channels like social media. But it actually has happened very much organically. Just going to an event, meeting a friend, and then meeting the friend of this friend, and then being like, oh, like you like to take pictures, like let's collab, let's do something together. And then I had a friend working in model management who helped me put up some castings, which I have found some models that I've worked with from your platform. And also just, connect with people. And sometimes the person isn't even a model, but then you just connect with them and you're like, hey, like, can we do some photos? And then people are often also willing to do that. And yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I think about models representing themselves online. There's Danny, who can also talk about this a lot. He has been a photographer for 12 years, like I said. He's worked for many brands, and right now he's based in Barcelona. And he works as well with model portfolios. So Danny, so if we look back at how a model represented herself maybe 20 years ago, which was basically a book and her poles, do you think that this is still valid, or how would you recommend a model to represent herself now in the digital age?
Well, hard question. The industry has changed a lot in the last 20 years, and for me it's like very relevant that today doesn't exist one portfolio, and this is something that also photographers have to learn, but models is most important. They have to understand that actually the industry is changing a lot, is changing very fast, is very dynamic. So you don't need just one portfolio. You need to build something that is changing also with the industry. It is very important that if you want to work, for example, in fashion, you have to make sure that the pictures you have are fashion. Or if you want to do portrait, you have to make sure that you have portrait pictures. Because in the end, as we heard from our other speakers, the brands are looking for something different every time. They want to connect with people. They want to see that actually this shirt or this skirt or whatever is looking good in the model. It's not only about the face, it's about a lifestyle. It's about selling something different and to show something different. So I believe that now the models have to work harder in building some nice kind of portfolio, dynamic portfolios that changes with the industry, with the things they want to do. And I believe that the idea of having a portfolio only with 6-10 pictures is useless now. You have to make pictures very often. You have to work a lot, because in the end, clients are looking and are getting bored really fast. And they want to see something different and new every time. So I think this is one of the most important things now for models.
Maybe Amy, you can tell us again, how do you keep up with producing content all the time?
You mean like photo shoots?
Because Danny said it's really important to keep renewing your portfolio and your photos. Is it something that you do? Do you actively search to renew your photos on Instagram, on model management, or your photos with your agency?
Yes, actually my Instagram is a bit abandoned, but I try to keep it like actualized. So changing the pictures, like having pictures like full body portraits, because I think it's good that when a client wants to contact you as a model, that the client can see like how are you like perfectly, like all sides of you. Yeah.
And Danny, from an agency perspective, what do you guys recommend your models to do? Do you also give them advice on how to handle their social media, or you give them advice on how to renew their portfolios? Is the book still a thing?
For sure. Yeah, we usually try to invest on the model, and so yeah, the idea is to organize different photo shootings for her in different, like in studio, outside, and with different kinds of clothings. So she will have all the possibilities. So when you send the portfolio to a client, she will have like a quality book, you know, with editorials and everything. Yeah.
And what does Barcino do about social media? Do you guys look at it when you recruit a new model as well?
Of course, yeah. We check their Instagrams, and if she or he is an influencer, of course, nowadays is an important fact, yeah.
Because I remember back in the day, I went to New York to see some agencies. It was like 5 years ago or something. And this was before I even knew about Instagram, or I had Instagram, but maybe I had like 80 followers or something. And every agency I stepped foot in asked me the first thing, do you have more than 10K followers? And I was like, what? I don't even know 10K people. So it was very early, and I saw that agencies are really moving fast. Well, I mean, in New York, everything is faster than here, I guess. But you guys also take people that don't have 10K followers, I guess.
No, of course, we also take people that if they have, I don't know, 50 followers, still fine. If she has or he has the profile that we're looking for, you know, we are going to invest on him, and so she can or he can get more followers as well. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So looking at all these comments and changes that we've observed, all of us, I would like to ask you back, Andreas, to tell us, looking at, well, yeah, how models have to now keep up. Amy told us a little bit that she has used different channels, and we've all seen that things are changing. What is your future vision for model management in order to help models achieve this self-representation?
Okay, first of all, we talked a lot about she. Juan was the first who also said he. Like, we are not talking about girl models, we're talking about women and men. In model management, we have over 1 million profiles worldwide, and 1/3 is guys and 2/3 is women or girls. So we shouldn't forget that there's also very good potential in male modeling. I think one of the questions was discussed here about the agency function, like what is an agency in the future? Do you need an exclusivity, or do you do like both? Do you use modelmanagement.com? Do you use Instagram? Do you go for an agency? I believe a lot in democracy of the market. I think that an exclusivity can work for very celeb models to keep them away from the rest and to sell them as an exclusivity with high prices, high royalties. But this is a very niche. I think an agency can be very helpful for also non-exclusive models. But the agency has to give a service above on what a model can do herself or himself. And that's, I think, where many agencies are striking right now. They still have the old DNA that just being an agency and having 100 model set cards on the wall and some phone numbers is enough to get 40% commission of a job, which is at the end the case. But there's other agencies who are really good, who understand that if I charge 40% commission, I have to give a very special service. That means I have to really go out, find the right clients for the models, I have to manage the model, I have to make sure that the invoicing is okay, that they get the best money for the model. And so I think the agency role in the future will be they have to be clear about their service if they want to keep charging what they charge, but they will still exist. The only one that don't exist anymore are the ones who don't give an additional service. Same with travel agencies. When we started to book flights directly, there's still travel agencies. If you give a service, people are willing to pay it. So for models, I think anybody could start and try it. And if you start trying it, you have to try as many options as possible. And there's so many opportunities. As Daniel said, a client can look for something. If you have only 3 pictures in one very clear direction, the chances are low. If you have different styles and portfolios, different kind of how you are, that doesn't mean you have to not have personality, but you have to show your personality. I mean, you don't have one personality. You have personality when you go out for a party, you have the personality when you go out for a fashion show, you have one when you go out with your friends, and so show your different sides that you have, then the chances are getting higher. And the good thing is, as content production now is so cheap and so direct with your own phone, quality is getting better and better. You don't have to go always for professional photo shoots. It's still 1 part of the portfolio that's good to have this professional photo shoot, but you can have friends making nice picture, and it's really hard to see the difference right now. Sorry for the photographers. I think it's really hard for them sometimes to compete with iPhone 10 or whatever it is right now. So yeah, I think there's much more chances, and the trend will also be that there will be fewer professional models who have this as a 100% job, like somebody has a job. They will have many models who do this as a side job. So there will be students, secretaries, doctors, whatever, and they do modeling jobs whenever they can, which is nice because then we have a bigger variety of people. So that's, I think, the trend for the models.
Okay, thank you. I think before we start including our audience into the discussion, I would like to ask a question. Maybe each one of you can answer from your standpoint. We have at Model Management, we have a huge community of aspiring models. We also have a lot of professional models, but mainly aspiring, that all want to also know how to boost their career or start their career and how they can take advantage of of the digital age. So maybe you can all give a piece of advice from your point of view, how someone can start this or what's important.
Well, for me, one of the main things that can make a big change is that models have to take this very serious and work hard for it, because it's not something that is going to happen from nowhere. You have to work, you have to push yourself, you have to try to connect with better people, better photographers, better models, makeup artists, and make your career with a lot of effort, I think. Andreas was talking about the agencies. For me, the agencies are giving a service to the models to find clients, to do different things with the models. And this is why they charge the percentage. And the other models, the ones who are up and coming or aspirant models, they have to work a bit harder because the agencies are not there. They have to do their own marketing. They have to look themselves as a business, as a brand, a small brand. This is important, but still being a brand. And you have to work for it. You have to know and to learn how to sell yourself, how to engage with better people, how to manage your social media and different things. So I believe is hard work and nothing else. I believe passion and work for me.
Thank you. Raphaella?
I can speak from a fashion designer brand perspective, building my own brand, and I think with modeling there might be some similarities, but for me it's taken a few years to just get to know myself and know who I am, because when you are able to see what everything is out there, then you can get caught up with trying to be another person that you actually are not. So for me, from my own experience, I used to compare myself a lot with other people on Instagram, on social media, and I had to completely quit for some time to actually get to know who I was. So having that break gave me the perspective of who I actually am, and I think it's really important because ever since then, I was able to come back to Instagram with a unique point of view, because I knew that I was not going to be like everyone else, that now I had actually realized that what I could bring to the table, a new point of view, a new perspective. And I think for models, it's the same thing. You have to just, think about like what you want, who are you? And these questions can take a long time to answer, and maybe we never actually answer them, but I think it's a quest to get to know who you are and then bring that to the table. And like Danny said, you become a mini little brand, and that's what people are attracted to. That's what people are going for. Like Andreas also said, authenticity. I think it's the most attractive thing when a person knows who they are and they represent that. So I think that's my opinion.
So you would say finding your own niche. I think you told me before that when you scroll to people's Instagram and you see a model with a nature picture, that you really connect with that person. So that's also something that you can, as a model, you can show these kind of hobbies as well.
Yeah, like things that you like to do. Like I was giving that example, but also some like a girl that I worked with, I saw that she was making jewelry, and I connected with her because I'm also a creative person. I make clothes, so I reached out and I was like, hey, do you want to do a collaboration? You make jewelry, I make clothes, maybe you want to model, because she like model her jewelry. And for me, sometimes I'm just scrolling on Instagram and then seeing, you know, just seeing girls and then being like, oh, like messaging them, hey, I like this about you, I like this about that. And it's really happened naturally for me, like finding models. Like I've used model management through a friend who helped me with castings, but I think now, because people are able to brand themselves and represent themselves, it has become a lot easier to find models and work with them.
Okay, thank you. Thanks. Amy?
As Danny said, models have to work like really hard, but luckily the industry every time is changing more, and more people can become a model because like they are more inclusive. So it's not only about having a beautiful face, you know, and I think that this is very good. And I think that now for being a model, you have to be like unique, and it's very important how you feel with yourself and about your attitude, you know, because if you have attitude, if you love yourself, people will see that, and also it is very important. Yeah.
I think you told me that you were afraid, for example, to cut your hair because you were afraid of not being able to model anymore. Yes. And then after that, your career actually really took off.
Yes, because I don't live in Barcelona, I live in Girona, and Girona is like a very close-mind city. So I cut my hair the first time 2014. So people will laugh of me, they will tell me that I look like a man, so stuff like that. And I was like feeling bad. And then 2 years ago, I shaved my hair. And I was like, I don't care if people don't like it. I like it, I feel comfortable. So I don't care. And luckily, since I shaved my hair, I have more job. Because of what I said, like every time more people can become a model.
I think that confirms a little bit what Raphaella said as well, that you found your niche while getting to know yourself and feeling comfortable with yourself. So then after brands found you because they see you now beautiful as you are and confident.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So trying to say something different about what's been said, I would say that a model, she or he doesn't have to be conditioned because of his profile, because actually now every market has a different profile, what they are looking for. So if you can't work in Barcelona, maybe you can work in China. So I would say that, yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Go to China, no problem. I don't know if it's a good idea to go to China now, to be honest. I would think about that. So I would say the word model is changing and will change. Model has been something for a person. I'm a model, or she's a model, or he's a model. And I think it's more like a role that you can play in your life, some part of your life or full time in your life. I think it's less a way to make money or to make your life. It's something that gives excitement and variety to your normal life. I think today we are playing many roles. You can be a parent, you can be a secretary or a student, and you can be a model at the same time. And when you are a model or when you work on your modeling part, it's fun because you play the role being a model, and that gives a total different perspective. And you still have this kind of glamorous feeling. I'm on the set like an actor who goes to a movie, and my role is now I'm a model. I'm these 2 hours, I'm in front of the camera and everybody's looking at me, and the makeup artist is preparing me and the stylist is there for me. That's really exciting. And this is now possible for so many people. And before it was only a very exclusive group to do that. And that's, I think, will be the trend.
And what's your advice?
My advice that everybody who has this dream of playing that role in his life, most people here are probably doing it already, should just try it. I think it's fun to do, not be too ambitious and like saying, yeah, I do it because I want to be a millionaire, or I have to be a supermodel, I have to go on the cover of Vogue. I've seen shootings with models that people have done one shooting in their life and they still have it somewhere on the wall, and they're still super proud and tell everybody, look, this was my moment, a moment of fame when I had this picture, and it's there. So my advice is just go out and have fun modeling.
Thank you. I think summing up a bit, you guys' advice, finding a niche. I think that also goes for models that are professional and that choose to go with an agency. That's also a niche. And then there's other niches. So people who want to, like Ami, who want to feel confident with like shaving their hair, or like models who work with Raphaella who like nature and post about nature. So I think this is all included now in the word model, while back in the day maybe models was something very, very, very exclusive and something that everyone had a very specific image about. And I think that's something that that we're going to see more and more in the future, and that we hope that the understanding also grows of that. Because if we watch TV, the commercials, that's not only one type of model. If we scroll through Instagram or whatever channels we use, so I think, yeah, thank you. This was very insightful, and I would like to open up now to the public. If you guys have any comments or questions, or our community maybe if they ask some questions. First, a round of applause for our panel, please.
Ja, ja. Er hat mir das gegeben. Ich soll was sagen.
Was denn? Nee, du sollst fragen.
I have to ask a question, or I can just make a comment?
You can make a comment. This is a discussion, so you can just do whatever.
Okay. My name is Nina. I'm a photographer as well. And I can just like give the advice that you have on your picture that you post, make it like professional pictures, but also like very natural, without makeup. Like you can get out of your bed and just make a selfie, and just like how you are, and without like big lipstick, and like how you like yourself. It's very important to see you as well natural, and not only just like with super hair and nails done. And I think this is very important to see, like what you said. It's just like what you said is like to see the variation of your personality and how you are really like when you get up from the bed and with a ponytail or whatever, like and smiling, not always just like cool pictures. No, just smile or laugh or scream or everything what your face gives. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Somebody else?
Well, I think we have our head of social media here, and she has collected some questions from our community.
Yeah, so we asked our followers to send us their questions, and every time I ask our followers for their questions, they're always worried about the requirements for the modeling industry, the age, the weight, the height. So what is your question about it? Because people is very worried about their requirements.
I think nowadays everyone can be a model. It doesn't matter who you are, how you are. You can be a model because the industry now is very wide. You can work in advertising projects, in photography projects, different ones, and they are open to everyone. They're looking for people different, with abilities, with charisma, with something different to offer. So now I believe that it doesn't matter if you're tall, if you're small, if you're fat or not. It's about attitude, and that's it. You don't need nothing different.
Yeah, you said something, talent. We have a lot of castings on modelmanagement.com for special talents like dancers, skaters. So if you have a special talent, your luck can be that you have this talent because somebody's looking for somebody who can do that, because the times where somebody's doing a sport in front of a camera, it looks ridiculous because everybody who does this sport knows exactly this person. This model never has no idea about what they're doing. This is over. This is not happening anymore. So people want people who really know what they're doing. And then if they're good looking or not is secondary, and good looking comes with, if you do something with pride, with attitude, and you know what you're doing, you look good. I mean, it doesn't matter if you're tall or not tall or whatever. So there's a lot of opportunities for that.
Is there any other questions or remarks? Maybe someone wants to share their point of view. We have a lot of models here tonight from Barcino, but also from other agencies. So maybe someone of the models wants to speak. Where's the microphone? We lost Lucia. We lost the microphone.
I'm here,
Oh,
but
okay.
no one wants to speak or something.
Well, are you sure no one wants to speak?
I don't know if I'm going to regret this, but there are no stupid questions, so I'm just going to ask. You were talking about something when a model gets, for example, now an exclusivity contract. Is it still possible for the model to go and apply for jobs in modelmanagement.com even though they signed in an exclusivity contract with an agency?
I think the best one to respond this is probably Juan.
So if it's possible to get a model management if you have exclusivity, that's the
Yeah, like
question.
if you still can apply for jobs there, because since it's just a platform and it's something like next to the contract.
Well, I guess that will depend on the conditions of the contract, but
Yeah.
actually if you have a good relationship with your agency, then you can still get them and share it with your agency. That could be a possibility.
Like share the payment that you get from the job from the
Well,
model
it depends on the
management, for
agency,
example.
of course.
Okay,
but
okay.
I guess that could be one, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Lots of experience. I have a lot of answers. There's two parts of this question. One is exclusivity is legally not possible in many countries. In Germany, for example, you cannot have an exclusive contract. It's not legal to do it. Although agencies try it and understand, and they have all the right to try it. But it's work, and you cannot close the access to a work market for any person in Germany, and I think it's in other countries as well. That doesn't mean that even though legally it's not possible, you should have an agreement with your agency and agree, no matter if it's on a paper, that I believe in you as an agency, I only want to be represented by you, and then stick to this agreement. So I think this is something that you have to develop with a relation with somebody. Hello? You can marry or not marry, and you can be related to one person or to many persons. That's your decision. But the fact that on modelmanagement.com you have a profile doesn't mean you're always on your own. We have model agencies, 4,000 I think, on modelmanagement.com, and they can also put their models. So many models you find there, they are, as a person you write them, but you don't write the model, you write the agency. So you can also agree with your agency, look, I want to be... Hello? Because there's many jobs and I want to have the jobs, but I don't want to be the one who negotiates to get the job. I want to do it with my agency. So I then talk to your agency, ask if they are on model management, and ask them to put your profile there. Cool.
Thank you.
Yes, I think it's probably about being open to your agency and sharing everything. I think the worst thing anyone can do, be it exclusive or not exclusive, is just hiding it and doing it behind people's back. I think that's when stuff gets problematic. Yeah. But we, like Andreas said, we have a lot of agencies who also look for the jobs for their models on our platform, because there's more and more jobs on there that are also opportunities for models that are in agencies. So I think if that answers your question.
Yeah, thank you.
Do you have anything else?
Who wants a mic?
There's one question.
Okay, I'm here. Hi. I have a couple of questions. One for Danny. Danny said like it's not enough to have like 6 or 12 pictures, that you have to have more. But how many pictures you recommend to have? Because sometimes the photographer or the scout person or whatever can be boring. You showing like 50 or 60 or 70 pictures. So how much, more or less, you said like it's good to have?
Okay, it is very easy. You have to think in the kind of jobs you want to do. Of course, the scouter or the booker or even the client doesn't want to see, I don't know, 50 pictures of you. But for example, if you know that you're going to do a fashion job or an advertising one, just make sure to have these pictures available for this. And what I mean with what I meant with everything I just said is that you have to not focus in building just one portfolio. This was in the past. Now you have to create your portfolio every day. It's basically the whole idea. It's not about just having, okay, I have 6 pictures of my own and that's it. I just send this to every agency and 2 years later you're doing the same with the same 6 pictures. It doesn't work like this anymore. You have to create every day new content. Even, as Andreas said, you can do it with your phone even. A lot of things, of course, it has to be with quality and good pictures. But in the end, it's something about this. And you always have to make sure to send the best pictures. The quality in these pictures it's super important for the people who works in the industry. We're so used to see pictures that we can recognize the quality of the model just seeing the pictures. It's that simple. If you don't have good pictures, they will pass. And that's it. So you have to make sure to have the best, only the best, 5, 6, but in every case you have. And also to make sure to create daily. That's it.
Thank you. And also for Juan, he said like you are always like checking the Instagram profiles of models. So what do you really look on the pictures when you check an Instagram profile?
Wow. Well, it depends. If the model is an influencer, for example, there are some brands that they want a person that is connected with nature, you know? So it depends, like, the thing is if the profile has a personality, if she or him is into nature, for example, or sports or anything that can be related with what your clients are asking for.
Cool, thank you, that's all.
Do we have anyone else? Otherwise, I would say we can start now to drop the panel and start the networking and the drinking and the dancing, if you guys want. So thank you so much. I think it's been a great pleasure for all of us to have you here to listen, to partly also participate. And I hope that we're going to see each other soon. We'll be planning on doing this around once a month. And yeah, now get to know as many people as you can and exchange. And thank you very much. Have a great night.
Yoga picture. Chapo, gracias, Elena.
I think we're going to remove the chairs now. Just a moment.
I'll need you to make sure we have this for the public to stay.
Yes.
If you want to do that
And
while I take the
music.
Okay.
I'm going to say this, that everyone is...